Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As Rabbi would say, whether you're in the room or you are on Zoom, welcome aboard. We will start our tefillah tonight on page 13 of our prayer books. If you have a soft cover prayer book with transliteration, you need to pay attention to the numbers of the page that are above the page and not below. Let's start with Shalom Aleichem as we welcome the angels, page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni leShalom, Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seitchem leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Together, Yalla lay 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 lay, Yalla lay 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 lay, Yay lay lay, Yay lay lay oh, Ti lay lay, Yay lay 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 lay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We take a few moments to continue with the ladder of our prayers. Hopefully, so as we ascend, we feel a little more connected to Shabbat, which is that time where we get the gift of unplugging. So take a moment to breathe in the sense of rest and breathe out so you can let this week that just concluded go. The Chuner Anena is on page 15. Lechuner Anena L'Adonai Naria Letzuri נפשנו מקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו כי הגדול אדוני מלך גדול על כל אלוהים. Can you tell Alex to get up if you want to? أربعين سنة أكود دور לעומר המתוהה לבבם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי באפי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. Page 16, we join together. And at the bottom of page 20, we continue with Anna Bekoach, a Kabbalistic poem that asks for Israel's redemption from exile. Sometimes I wonder, what exile are we talking about? You can fill in the blank. גדולת ימינך תתיר את צרורה קבל רינה עמך סגרנו תארנו נורא אנא בכוח גדולת ימינך תתיר את צרורה קבל רינה עמך סגרנו תארנו נורא הגיבור דורשנו עד שמרם ברכם צדקתך תמיד גמם חסין קדוש חסין קדוש ורוב תוכה נהל עדתך יחיד גאה למענך שני זוכרי קדושתך שבתנו קבל ושמע צעקתנו יודע אלומות אנא בכוח גדולת ימינך תתיר את צרורה קבל בינה עמך זקבנו טהרנו נורא טהרנו נורא Now that we're about to welcome Shabbat formally, I've been trying to wait as much as I can to light the candles because it's still light. So has served as a preparation of our souls. We will first welcome Shabbat with the words of our tradition. Lecha Dodi. We will use page 22, the 4 stanzas there. And then we will light the Shabbat candles. Lecha Dodi, לקראת קרנה, בני שבת, לקבלת הרגל. Lecha Dodi, לקראת קרנה, Shabbat, the Kabbalah. Let's try that one more time from the top. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kanan, B'nei Shabbat, the Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kanan, B'nei Shabbat, the Kabbalah. תבושי ולא תקלמי מתיש תונחי ומה תלמי בך יחסו אני ימי ונפתה תירה תילה ולכה תלמי לקראת והיו למשיסה שעושייך ורחקנו כל מבעייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כמסור שפתיים על כלה אוי lecha Dodi לקראת קרנה בני שבת לקבלה אוי lecha Dodi לקראת קרנה בני שבת לקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על ידי בשלום, עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצונה. תוך אמוני הסגולה, בואי חלם, בואי חלם. לקראת העולם, ונשמה לקבלה. אדוני, לקראת העולם, ונשמה לקבלה. אדוני, לקראת העולם, שבת לקבלה. אדוני, לקראת העולם, שבת לקבלה. One more time. אדוני, לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. אדוני, לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. So I don't feel like I can move on to Mizmor Shir Layom HaShabbat, which is a song for Shabbat without lighting the candles of Shabbat. So I think we've waited long enough. I'm gonna ask Karen and her accompaniment, how do you say it? A companion, whatever. I'm gonna ask Karen and the kids to please come up and help us light the Shabbat candles. That's okay, it's okay. Come over. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Thank you guys.
Shabbat shalom.
Let's now join in Mizmor Shir Layom HaShabbat, page 23. Mizmor Shir Layom HaShabbat, Tov להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, לזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, לזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי יסוד ועלי נבל, עלינו יום לתינוק. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, לזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, ובעשה ידך ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, לזמר לשמך עליון. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, ומעולם כמוך שמותיך. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, ומעולם כמוך שמותיך. מושיב ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Martin, can I ask you to share with everyone on our cyberspace, whatever they call it, how many wonderful people have joined us for Shabbat service tonight? It's really nice. It's really nice to have you all here. And I often feel privileged to, just in general, to be able to celebrate Shabbat with the community, but being outside, Max, bring down your, when we're outside, it's just the feeling is so different, like being in the sanctuary, isn't it? It's like we're in the round, we can see each other's faces, we can hear each other's voices, we can feel each other's vibrations. It's really beautiful. So thank you for joining us. Thank you. Glasses on. So this Shabbat is the Torah portion of Korach. We were studying last night with a teacher of mine and someone who's become a teacher of this congregation as we were gathering for Shira, and she says, you know, for the most rebel and annoying human being on earth, he gets a whole Torah portion for himself, this guy Korach. And she was right. So our Torah portion tells the story of Korach and his followers who lead a rebellion to undermine the leadership of Moshe and Aharon in the wilderness. God responds by orchestrating a ceremony involving fire pans and flowering staffs to prove that Korach and his followers are in the wrong. The story ends rather dramatically with the earth swallowing the rebels and silencing their claims once and for all. But the echoes of Korach rebellion continue to reverberate in the rabbinic imagination. And we might even think that the entire Talmud talks about how to be the antidote for Korach. We are told in the Talmud that when there was a dispute between the schools of Hillel and Shammai, two of the major prominent rabbis, God's voice declared that the law should follow Hillel, not because Hillel was right and Shammai was wrong, but because Elu ve'elu, in fact, these and these are the words of the living God. Both Hillel and Shammai spoke the truth. It was not their particular dissenting opinions that mattered, but rather three different aspects in which they disagreed. First, the school of Hillel always spoke in a manner that was respectful and patient, showing restraint when they were upset. Second, when they taught the law, they would always teach both their statement along with the statements of Shammai. Rashi thinks that this meant that whenever the school of Shammai offered a proof text for their stance, the school of Hillel would offer their own stance, different interpretations of the same proof text, thereby using the dispute as an opportunity to teach more Torah. Same argument, different lenses. Finally, the school of Hillel would also always state Shammai's opinions before their own, first considering the opposing stance and then offering their ruling in response. In a completely different matter, Korach and his company spoke not from a place of respect and moderation, but from a place of anger and entitlement. They said, "Enough with you." They lashed out at Moshe and Aharon, criticizing them for setting themselves above the rest of God's congregation. Moses responded to Korach's claim with a series of reasoning arguments. He tried that God set Korach and his followers apart from the Levites, and that Aaron never sought the priesthood in the first place. Just kind of that's what God wanted. Didn't go really well with Korach. After the Midrash and Bemidbar Rabbah 18, Korach refused to engage with all these arguments Moshe tried to win Korach over. Yet you do not find that the latter returned him any answer. This is because he was clever in his wickedness and thought, if I answer him, I know quite well that he is very wise and he will overwhelm arguments. So I shall be reconciled against my will. It is better that I should not engage, he would say. Korach was so afraid of losing the argument that he refused to listen to Moses' side. Moses then sent for the Tan of the leading rebels and tried to engage with them, but they insisted, "We will not come." The Midrash adds, they too persisted in their wickedness and did not design any answers for him. The Torah then, and the Midrash, no doubt, that Korach and his followers stated their claims first and then disappeared, refusing to hear out the other side. The Talmudic passage in Eruvim about Hillel and Shammai concludes with a lesson that we are meant to derive from their style of the argument. This is to teach that anyone can humble him or herself, that anyone can exalt him or herself, and that anyone who exalts himself, God humbles him. Anyone who seeks greatness, greatness flees from him. And anyone who flees from greatness, as our teacher said last night, greatness seeks him. Korach exalted himself and sought out greatness, insisting that he and his followers should have the same honor and responsibilities according to Moshe and to Aaron. As a result, God humbled him and caused greatness to flee from him. He and his followers were swallowed up by the earth, and they and their arguments did not endure. The Talmud imagines an even grimmer fate for Korach and his company. Not surprisingly, the Talmud quotes frequently from Hillel and Shammai and rarely invokes the names of Korach and his followers. As a literary corpus, the Talmud is driven by disagreement. Dispute is the engine that prophets, and dispute is the engine that propels the Talmud forward. But in keeping with the school of Hillel, the Talmud will rarely dismiss an opinion from someone else. I want to pause for a moment. How about I can't stop thinking about what do we do with Torah if we're not able to learn from it and bring it so it makes sense into our lives. The schools of Hillel and Shammai always disagreed, but respecting and understanding that none of them were right or wrong. It was just a matter of looking at it from a different perspective. This Shabbat, I want to take the Torah very, very seriously. Some Shabbatot, the Torah portion talks about rules. The rules are not my thing. But behavior and respect and understanding that no one has to be right for all of us to win is how I want to look at this Shabbat. And I lean on the Torah, what I call the recipe for how to live a Jewish life, to enlighten me. Hopefully it'll do the same to you. So as we get ready to move on with this service, acknowledging the Shabbat is here and that it is a blessing and an opportunity to reflect, to pause, to turn off your phones. I promise you they'll be there tomorrow. Just take some time to think. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought you were right and the other person was wrong? I'm sure you were. Could have been possible that you were both right. You never know where the other is coming from when they say something. Give yourself the gift of going out to see the other and to encounter the other, even if it is from different lenses. Shabbat. Let's now turn to page 28. Remember, if you're in the soft cover prayer book, we are looking at the pages above, looking at the numbers above the page. And we'll rise for Baruch at the top of the page.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher בחוכמה פותח שערים ובגבול מחלק את האזנות, מסדר את הכוכבים ונשמתים. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אמרי ורבי.
You may be seated. Ahavat Olam, constant love. Top of page 29.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה, נגן יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך וכל עבדיך ושיטתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקרובך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
We continue silently until the bottom of the page. At the top of page 31.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת אמת ומונה כל זכותכם.
In the middle of page 32, the song that Moses and Miriam sang as they crossed the sea in their way to the promised land. It is a little bit of a new melody. Done it for a couple of weeks. So join with Laila Lai or anywhere you can.
Let's repeat that. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 from the top. Mi kamocha, Elim Adonai. Mi kamocha, Nehar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, Asafele. Nora tehilot. חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Let's turn to page 33 And together in English at the top of the page, let's join together. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us. Our gracious and merciful ruler, guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, leHavideinu, Malkeinu leChayim. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, leHavideinu, Shomreinu leChayim. Shalom, together. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, leHavideinu, Malkeinu leChayim. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, leHavideinu, Shomreinu leChayim. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu. ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ועל ירושלים. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. אוי 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 ובני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, ועלמא דברה חיותה וימליך מלכותה, וחייכון יום יום וחיי בכל בית ישראל. בגדה בגדה ובזמן קריב
וימרו
אמן.
יהא שרה במאורה לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה
יתברך
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה לשמי וקודשה לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה וימרו. Rise now if you're able and we turn to page 30. Be seated when you're done with your personal prayers. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי עושה שלום שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל אמן אמן. עושה שלום שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו ועל כל יושבי תבל Kaddish Shalem to conclude this section of the Tefillah is on page 48. יתגדל ויתקדש שמרפא, ועלמד יברך פרוטה וימליך מלכותה, וחי יכונו וימכונו וחי תכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו. יהי שמי רבא מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרום ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירם בעלמה וימרו. יתקבל הצלות ונבאותן לכל ישראל קודם אהובון דבשמיא וימרו. יהי שלום הרע מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל וימרו. As we continue with the conclusion of our service, we turn to page 51 for Aleinu. If you are able, please rise as we face east. עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת כלה ליוסף ראשית, שלא עשנו יהי רצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. על כן נקבל חלומי אלוהים מידות מלאכותך. כי המלכות שלך היא, ולעולמי תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב את תורתך אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והי אדוני לנצח על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. If you're in mourning, please remain standing. Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish is on page 52. This Shabbat, we think of our loved ones in our congregation. Dvora Rivka Abend, Jill Adler Moore, Vahe Belian, Sonia Barsky, Herman Berland, Milton Breslow, Ian Harold Breslow, Morris Bresner, George Caton, Morris Feinsot, Tommy Freeman, Mervyn Gold, Abe Jampolsky, Anita Jick, Jay Kaplan, Minnie Litt, Harold Lindstone, Ruth Meltzner, Elfreda Galentier Mindlin, Edward Pechner, Morris Rambach, Riva Raz, Dorothy Resnick, Beverly Rogers, Sam Rolfe Safman, Laura Sandick, Dora Shefflin, Herbert Schiff, Dina Shepard, Eva Silverman, Shirley Spitzer, Nathan Steinman, Janina Wadsworth, Anna Wakeman, Wolf Wiseman, and Aaron Wolf. If you're observing the yahrzeit of your loved one or the early anniversary of a loved one's death, please rise as we continue with Kaddish Tom at the top of page 52. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chilutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kariv ve'imru. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach ve'olam u'lolmei alma yitbarach. Barach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shmei dekudsha לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיא, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. You may be seated just for a brief moment. I want to once more welcome all of you who are there and all of you who are here, and welcome those who are new to our congregation and visiting. Welcome. It's really nice to have you here. And sure, that's a smart idea. Someone is telling me if I would ask you to introduce yourselves if you feel comfortable. All the way from Tarzana.
My parents founded.
Wow. How wonderful.
Welcome.
Well, we're happy to share you guys with them. In a moment, I'm going to give Hannah the heads up to share announcements, and then we will sing our closing song, and while announcements are being shared, we will go and use that camera to go and do Kiddush together right behind you guys there. So if I don't get a chance to say Shabbat Shalom to you personally, then I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. And that was a good one, right? I did it right, yeah. And I can say Shabbat Shalom tomorrow morning to you. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you to please rise, and peacocks are here. I don't know if you can hear the peacocks, but we have them here. In any event, we'll join together with a prayer for peace. Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu. Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Salam Aleinu, Kol Haolam, Salam, Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Wait for it. Shabbos. Announcement, please.
you're gonna sing super, super loud. And everyone has a good shut up. Let's join together.
Here are you.
Okay, cool. Ready, Matt?
Yeah.
Shabbat shalom.